Hey everyone, welcome to my top dinosaur figures of 2019 video. I have to say it was pretty hard picking only 10 figures for this list because we got so many great figures in 2019 from all the major companies. PNSO came roaring back to life at the beginning of the year and just gave us an absolute ton of figures for the first 6 months of the year and then went oddly quiet from that point on, but I'm sure they'll be back with a lot of great figures relatively soon. Safari Ltd gave us some updates to classics like their Stegosaurus and Allosaurus, as well as another fantastic looking Ceratopsian in their Styracosaurus. Rebor produced some really nice looking Jurassic Park style collectibles, but the real surprise from them was this beautiful looking Stegosaurus that came out just at the very end of the year. Every year, Collecti continuously improves their figures. They gave us this fantastic looking Carnotaurus, and they are always ahead of the curve when it comes to producing newly described species like their Borrella pelta right here. Papo continues the trend of producing some of the most detailed and lifelike figures on the market, and after many delays, their very highly anticipated Spinosaurus finally arrived at the end of the year. And lastly, EoFauna, which is the new kid on the block. They produced two fantastic looking dinosaur figures this year in their Giganotosaurus and fantastic looking Atlasaurus. So all in all, 2019 was a great year to be a dinosaur figure collector. So with this quick recap out of the way, let's move on with my top 10 picks of 2019. Now, if you don't see your favorite figure on this top 10, that does not mean in any way, shape, or form it is a bad figure. This is just my own personal list of what I thought, for me, were the best figures of 2019. Number 10, the Papo Gorgosaurus. This is such a beautiful little figure from Papo of a species of dinosaur you barely see made into figure form. Has great paint apps and a lot of detail on such a small figure. And as always, Papo are among the best in the business when it comes to articulated jaws. Probably my only complaint on this figure is that it's just a little bit too small. I would have loved if it was a bigger figure, but other than that, this is definitely a fine looking Gorgosaurus. Number 9, the Safari Ltd Camarasaurus. I am a huge fan of sauropod dinosaurs, and I'm always excited when a company produces a large, well-done sauropod figure, and Safari definitely delivered on this Camarasaurus, which is an update to their old Carnegie collection Camarasaurus. This is a very well-done figure, has nice paint apps on it, a lot of nice detail, and it's kind of weird that we don't see a lot of Camarasaurus figures from other companies since Camarasaurus is a very well-known sauropod. Number 8, the PNSO Yangchuanosaurus and Chungkingosaurus 2-pack. This is such a nice set from PNSO. PNSO gave us so many great figures this year, so it was really hard to pick among all the figures they gave us, but this set really stood out to me. I love the diorama aspect of this set. Both figures are sculpted beautifully. The paint apps are really nice, especially on the Yangchuanosaurus, and I'd love to see more 2-packs like this from PNSO in the future. Number 7, the CollectA Carnotaurus. Every year, CollectA gets better and better at producing dinosaur figures, and this Carnotaurus is definitely proof of that. Every major company has done a Carnotaurus at some point, but this CollectA one right here is definitely by far my favorite interpretation of this animal. Number 6, the Safari Ltd Allosaurus. This is probably my favorite figure from their 2019 lineup. This Allosaurus is beautifully sculpted and there is no shrink wrapping at all on this figure. I think it is probably one of the best looking Allosaurus figures on the market currently, and it also looks absolutely fantastic when posed next to their 2019 Stegosaurus. Number 5, the Papo Pentaceratops. I know when this figure was first announced, the promotional images, the pose that this figure came in was pretty ridiculous, but I was very happy to find out that it could be displayed on all four legs and posed in this position. This is a fantastic looking Pentaceratops. The paint work on this is absolutely fantastic. The detail is phenomenal. This is just a beautiful, beautiful looking Ceratopsian figure. Yeah, it's not 100% accurate. Papo models never claimed to be that, but there is no denying that this is just a beautiful all-around figure. Number 4, the PNSO Ceratosaurus. This thing is an absolute masterpiece. It is beautifully sculpted and painted. You know, when PNSO first burst onto the scene a few years ago, they were known for producing these large hollow vinyl dinosaur figures. And I was so happy when they finally came back for that little hiatus that they gave us this beautiful, beautiful looking Ceratosaurus. This is among my favorite Ceratosaurus figure ever produced. This thing is an absolute shelf killer. It is huge. It even makes the Papo Spinosaurus look tiny in comparison. Definitely among one of my favorite figures from 2019. Number 3, the Rebar Stegosaurus. Rebor did 3 different paint schemes on this figure, and I went with the mountain coloration because I think it's just so different than what we're used to seeing on other Stegosaur figures. You know, Rebor has been making a lot of pop culture figures lately. They do their Jurassic Park style figures. We got that, you know, alien T-Rex hybrid thing that's coming out from them, but I really like it when they produce a nice looking, you know, non-pulp culture dinosaur model like this Stegosaurus. This is among one of my favorite Stegosaur figures ever produced by any of the major companies. Yeah, it's not 100% scientifically accurate, but there is no denying that this is just a beautiful, beautiful looking Stegosaurus. Number 2, the PNSO and Kyllosaurus. This figure is definitely not the most dynamic figure to come out from PNSO in 2019, especially when you compare it to their Giganotosaurus and Spinosaurus. But this little figure just really, really appealed to me. I love the detail on that armor on the back. It is just so well done. And this figure also incorporates the latest study of the armor placement on this animal. The paint scheme is very natural looking, and just love everything about this figure. I think this is probably the best Ankylosaurus figure ever produced so far on the market, and for the price of like almost $20, you cannot go wrong, especially if you haven't started collecting PNSO figures yet. And finally, number 1, the EoFauna Atlasros. This figure is an absolute masterpiece. This is the second dinosaur figure ever that EoFauna has produced, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm a huge fan of sauropod dinosaurs, and what EoFauna did with this Allosaurus is just truly breathtaking. It is a well-researched, beautifully sculpted and painted figure. It's just it's just gorgeous. I absolutely love this thing, and maybe because it's such an obscure species, it appealed to me even more, and I cannot wait to see what other dinosaur figures EoFauna has planned for us in the future. I'm sure they're going to absolutely knock it out of the park with whatever species they decide to do next. So that'll do it for my top 10 dinosaur figures of 2019 video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I would love to hear what your top 10 figures of 2019 are, so just let me know in the comments section. I'm sure it will greatly differ from my list right here. And if you want to check out the individual reviews on these 10 figures, I made a playlist that you can easily access by hitting that little exclamation point on the top of the video right here. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.